On October 17th, a massive explosion occurred at Al-Ali Hospital in the Gaza Strip, killing hundreds of people. Arab countries and Turkey blame Israel for this. Israel, for its part, denies any involvement in the explosion. What political consequences did this event lead to? And why did it cause a flurry of anti-American sentiment throughout the Muslim world? In a special release of AZfront. The fateful night of the 17th to the 18th of October. What happened? On the evening of October 17th, around 1910 local time, there were reports from the main city of the Gaza Strip about a massive blast at Al-Ali Hospital. By the middle of the night, about 500 deaths were already reported. The Israeli version of the blast. The press service of the Israeli army reported that at 19 o'clock, Islamic Jihad militants in Gaza launched rockets towards Israel. One of them fell over the city immediately after the launch. As a result, there was a blast in the hospital. Since the beginning of the war on October 7th, about 450 rockets fired towards Israel by Hamas and Islamic Jihad militants have exploded in the same way within the Gaza Strip. The fragments of a live broadcast by the Qatari TV channel Al Jazeera around 7 p.m. captured one of the rockets fired in the Gaza area falling downwards immediately after launch, followed by a powerful explosion on the ground. Also, the Israeli army released a recording of a conversation between Hamas fighters about a failed rocket launch by Islamic Jihad militants at the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu publicly denied reports of Israeli involvement in the blast. Political consequences. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Pakistan, Jordan, Egypt, Turkey, and Algeria have condemned Israel unequivocally and in the strongest terms. Russia, China, and the UAE initiated an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. French President Macron condemned the hospital bombing without accusing Israel. As a consequence, the cancellation of the Jordan summit was announced. It was to have been held on the afternoon of October 18th, with the participation of the leaders of the US, Egypt, Jordan, and Palestine. President Biden had planned to discuss at the summit the political arrangement in the Gaza Strip after the destruction of Hamas there, in an expected ground operation by the Israeli army, with the transfer of power to the Palestinian Authority, which currently partially controls the West Bank of the Jordan. Mass demonstrations. Following the bombing of a hospital in Gaza, massive anti-Israeli and anti-Western demonstrations began in many Arab countries, Iran and Turkey. In the Jordanian capital, the crowd attempted to attack the Israeli embassy. Diplomatic staff of the embassy had been removed at the beginning of the war, 7 to the 8th of October. In Beirut, demonstrators surrounded the U.S. embassy, set fires outside the building, and hung Palestinian and Hamas flags on its fence. The French embassy was also attacked. In Istanbul, police clashed with protesters who tried to occupy the Israeli consulate. Almost simultaneously, the U.S. consulate in the Turkish city of Adana was attacked. A crowd also gathered near the U.S. military airbase in the city of Malatya. During a visit to Israel, U.S. President Joe Biden stated that the U.S. accepts the Israeli army's version of the explosion at the Al-Ali hospital in the Gaza Strip. Against the backdrop of the Biden administration's unequivocal support for Israel in the context of the war with Hamas, the Gaza hospital bombing has caused a flurry of anti-American sentiment throughout the Muslim world. This raises the threat of terrorist attacks in the Middle East against U.S. facilities and citizens. Subscribe and click on the bell in order to be informed of the main events. See you soon.